The great hall of the Galactic Council stretched far into the darkness above. Thousands of different alien species sat in their seats talking in hundreds of languages. The sound filled the massive room like the buzz of angry insects. Ambassador Zekathara walked to the center of the room. His 6 legs clicked on the metal floor as he moved. His insect-like body was covered in hard, shiny armor that had protected his people for millions of years. Behind him, a large screen showed images from a small blue planet far away. Council members, Zekathara began, his voice carrying clearly through the hall. Today we discuss the humans of planet Earth. After months of watching them, we have learned much about this new species. The room grew quiet. New species were always interesting. Some became useful slaves. Others provided good soldiers for the endless wars between star systems. A few had to be destroyed completely because they were too dangerous. General Thaxmore leaned forward in his seat. His people, the Crevasse, were the best warriors in the galaxy. They had 6 strong arms and could fight with 3 weapons at once. Scars covered his dark green skin from countless battles. "What kind of fighters are they?" he asked. Zekathara's mandibles clicked together in what his people used as a smile. "That is the interesting part, General. They barely fight at all anymore." The screen behind him showed images from Earth. Humans in blue helmets stood between 2 groups of other humans, keeping them from fighting. Other humans handed out food and medicine to people who looked sick and hungry. Children played in parks while their parents watched peacefully. "Look at this," Zekathara said, pointing to the screen. "These humans have something they call the United Nations. Instead of conquering other humans, they try to talk to them. They have rules about how to fight wars. They try to avoid hurting people who are not soldiers." Laughter filled the hall. The idea seemed crazy to most of the aliens. War was how species survived. The strong took what they wanted from the weak. That was the way things had always been. "Their weapons are very simple," Zekathara continued. "Small guns that fire tiny pieces of metal. Bombs that use old chemical reactions. Their biggest weapons can only destroy cities, not entire planets. They have not even learned to fight properly in space." More images appeared on the screen. Human soldiers carried rifles that looked like toys compared to the energy weapons most galactic species used. Their armor was thin and weak. Their vehicles moved slowly on wheels or tracks instead of floating above the ground. Council Leader Mordak spoke from his high throne. He was older than most stars, and his people had destroyed entire galaxies. His voice sounded like rocks grinding together. "Show us their military strength." "They have armies," Zekathara said, "but they use them mainly for helping people during natural disasters. When earthquakes destroy cities, human soldiers come to dig people out of the broken buildings. When floods happen, they bring boats to save families. They even have special soldiers called Marines, but they spend most of their time delivering food to hungry people." The screen showed human Marines handing water bottles to children and building schools in poor areas. The aliens watching could not understand it. Soldiers were for fighting and killing, not for helping weak people. "What about their space forces?" asked Admiral Kesavara. Her people controlled the largest fleet in the galaxy. "They have some ships," Zekathara replied, "but they only use them to move supplies and explore new places. They have not built any real warships. Their space stations are for science, not war." The images showed human astronauts floating peacefully in their small stations, doing experiments and taking pictures of stars. It all looked very boring to the aliens. "There is more," Zekathara continued. "The humans have many different countries on their planet, but they rarely fight each other anymore. When they disagree about something, they sit in rooms and talk until they find a solution. They have courts where judges decide who is right instead of having battles." This was the strangest thing of all to the galactic species. Every alien race had conquered their home planets by destroying their enemies. The idea of sharing a world peacefully seemed impossible. General Thaxmore stood up, his 6 arms crossed over his chest. "Are you telling us that these humans are too weak to fight their own kind? How did they survive long enough to develop space travel?" "They are not weak," Zekathara said carefully. "They are just different. They seem to prefer working together instead of fighting. Their planet has more than 7 billion humans living on it, but they mostly get along with each other." 7 billion? Mordak's ancient voice showed surprise. "How do they control so many people without constant war?" "They vote," Zekathara explained. "When they need to make decisions, they count how many people want each choice. Then they do what most people want." The hall filled with confused noise. The aliens could not understand how anyone could control billions of people by asking them what they wanted. They also have something called human rights. Zekthara continued. They believe all humans should be treated well, even their enemies. When they capture enemy soldiers, they give them food and medical care. This caused more laughter. Most galactic species tortured captured enemies for information, then killed them. Let me understand this, Admiral Kesavara said. These humans have billions of people, but they refuse to fight properly. They have weapons, but they hold back from using them. They capture enemies, but they treat them kindly. Is this correct? Yes, Zekthara confirmed. Our spies have watched them for months. They are clearly a peaceful species that has moved beyond warfare. They would rather build things than destroy them. Mordak was quiet for a long time, thinking. Finally he spoke. This could be useful. A species that prefers peace would be easy to control. They could manage resources and handle the boring work of running planets while warrior species focus on more important things. I agree, General Thaxmore said. They sound perfect for a protectorate species. We give them some protection, and they do the work we do not want to do. The vote was quick and unanimous. Every species in the Council agreed that humans pose no threat to galactic peace. They would be incorporated into the galactic community as a protected species under the Council's rule. Prepare a standard annexation fleet, Mordak ordered. Nothing too large. We do not want to scare them. Just enough ships to show them we are serious. How many ships? Admiral Kesavara asked. 100 should be enough, Mordak replied. These peaceful humans will probably surrender as soon as they see our fleet. We might not need to fire a single shot. The council members began to leave, already making plans for how to use their new human servants. They imagined humans running their farms, building their cities, and handling all the tedious work that warriors should not have to do. As the Great Hall emptied, Zekthara looked once more at the images of Earth on his screen. The humans in the pictures looked so small and harmless. Their primitive weapons and peaceful nature would make them easy to control. He had no idea that everything he had seen was exactly what the humans wanted him to see. 3 star systems away, deep in a hidden base built inside an asteroid, human intelligence officers watched the Galactic Council meeting through carefully planted spy devices. They had been listening to alien communications for decades, learning their languages and understanding their cultures. They bought it completely, said Director Hayes, watching the aliens leave their meeting. They think we're just a bunch of peaceful farmers. Colonel Martinez smiled. The boys in psychological operations did good work. All those humanitarian missions and peace treaties really sold the story. How long until their fleet arrives? Hayes asked. Our deep space sensors show movement in their territory. I'd say 3 months, maybe 4. Good. That gives us time to finish the preparations. Make sure all our people are ready. Yes, sir. The Marines are especially excited about this. Hayes looked at the screen showing the alien fleet beginning to move toward Earth. Poor bastards. They have no idea what they're walking into. 3 months later, space near Earth suddenly filled with enormous alien ships. The Galactic Council fleet emerged from hyperspace like metal mountains appearing from nowhere. Each ship was bigger than any human city, covered with weapons that could destroy continents. Admiral Vexahai stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Dominator's Pride. Through the massive windows, he could see the small blue planet ahead. It looked peaceful and defenseless, just like the reports had said. Begin the standard approach, he ordered his crew. Send the incorporation message to the planet. The communication came from Earth almost immediately. The response appeared on the main screen, showing a human male in a dark suit. He looked calm and friendly, nothing like the fierce warriors that ruled most worlds. Greetings, the human said. I am Secretary General Chen of the United Nations. We welcome you to our solar system. We hope we can work together in peace and friendship. Admiral Vexhai almost laughed. The human was even more pathetic than expected. He did not demand to know why foreign ships had entered his space. He did not threaten to attack if they did not leave. He just welcomed them like invited guests. Humans of Earth, Admiral Vexhai replied, his voice broadcasting to the entire planet. The Galactic Council has decided your world needs our protection. You will accept our authority and follow our rules. This is for your own safety. Do not try to fight us. The transmission from Earth ended suddenly. The alien fleet waited, expecting the humans to send surrender messages within a few hours. Most species gave up quickly when they saw the size of a council fleet. Hours passed. No messages came from Earth. Sir, reported the communications officer, we are receiving a new transmission from the planet. Good, Admiral Vexai said. Put it on screen. Let us see their surrender. The face that appeared was very different from the peaceful diplomat they had seen before. This human wore a military uniform covered with medals and ribbons. His eyes were cold and angry. Behind him, other uniformed humans moved with quick, precise movements. Unknown Fleet, the new human said. I am General Morrison, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the United States Military. You have entered our space without permission and threatened our world. You have 30 minutes to turn around and leave our solar system, or we will consider your presence an act of war. Admiral Vexai stared at the screen. The human's tone was completely different from the first one. This one sounded like he was giving orders, not asking for peace. Scan the planet again, the Admiral ordered. Show me their military forces. The scan results appeared on the tactical display. Vexai's confidence began to crack. Energy readings were spiking all across Earth's surface. Structures that had looked like peaceful buildings were opening to reveal hidden weapons. The planet's moon was splitting apart like a flower, showing rows of enormous guns. Sir, the sensor operator said, his voice worried. I am detecting ships. Where? How many? I do not know where they came from, sir. They were not there a moment ago, but now. Sir, there are hundreds of them. On the tactical display, new contacts appeared around the alien fleet. Human ships that seemed to bend light around them, making them almost invisible. They were smaller than the alien vessels, but moved with incredible speed and precision. How is this possible? Admiral Vexai demanded. Our intelligence said they had no real warships. Sir, another officer reported, the human ships are targeting our vessels. They have weapons locked onto us. Admiral Vexai looked at the display showing dozens of human ships surrounding his massive fleet. Each alien ship was being tracked by multiple human vessels. If a battle started, every ship in his fleet would be under attack immediately. Communications, get me that human general again, he ordered. General Morrison's face reappeared on the screen. Behind him, other humans worked at computers and displays showing the alien fleet. The humans moved like they had done this many times before. General, Admiral Vexai said, trying to sound calm, there seems to be some misunderstanding. We came here to offer protection to your people. Protection from what? Morrison asked. From the dangers of space. Pirates, hostile aliens, cosmic disasters. Morrison was quiet for a moment. Then he smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. Admiral, we have been monitoring galactic communications for 50 years. We know exactly how your protection works. You show up with a big fleet, demand surrender, and turn free people into slaves. That is not... Let me be very clear. Morrison interrupted. You have 27 minutes to leave our space. If you are still here after that time, we will assume you plan to attack us. And if you attack us, we will respond with everything we have. The transmission ended. Admiral Vexai stood in shocked silence. How did the humans know about galactic communications? How had they hidden such advanced technology? Sir, the tactical officer said, our scouts are reporting something strange from the human ships. What now? The human ships are not just targeting us, sir. They are talking to each other. Every ship in their fleet is connected in real time. They are coordinating like they share one mind. Admiral Vexai felt his confidence disappearing completely. In galactic warfare, coordination between ships took time. Commanders had to send messages, wait for responses, and hope their orders reached the right ships. But these humans seemed to be acting as one massive organism. Sir, another officer said, I am detecting new energy sources on the planet. The humans are powering up weapons we did not know existed. The display showed Earth covered with energy signatures. Not just military bases, but cities, towns, even small villages were showing massive power spikes. It was as if the entire planet was one giant fortress. Get me Admiral Kesavara, Vexai ordered. I need to report to the Council immediately. While he waited for the communication to connect, Admiral Vexai watched the human ships on his tactical display. They moved in perfect formation, every ship knowing exactly where every other ship was going. Their weapons stayed locked on his fleet, but they had not fired yet. The humans were waiting. They were giving him exactly the time they had promised, not a second more or less. Admiral Kesavara's face appeared on the communication screen. She was back at the Council headquarters, confident that the human operation was going smoothly. Admiral Vexai, she said, how goes the incorporation of Earth? Admiral, Vexai said quietly, we have a problem. A very big problem. He quickly explained what had happened. The hidden ships, the advanced weapons, the perfect coordination. As he talked, Admiral Kesavara's expression changed from confidence to confusion to worry. "You are telling me," she said slowly, "that these peaceful humans have been lying to us?" "Not lying," Vexhai replied, "hiding. Everything we saw was real, but it was not the whole truth. They do have humanitarian missions and peace treaties, but they also have the most advanced military I have ever seen. Impossible. Our spies watched them for months. They watched what the humans wanted them to see. On the tactical display, a timer counted down. 15 minutes until the human deadline. What are your orders, Admiral?" Vexhai asked. Kesavara was quiet for a long time. Finally, she spoke. "You have two choices, Admiral. Fight or withdraw. If we fight, we will be fighting their entire planet at once. Every human ship is connected to every other ship. Every weapon on Earth will fire at the same time. I do not think we can win. And if we withdraw, we return to the Council and tell them we have made a terrible mistake." Vexhai looked at his display. 10 minutes left. "Admiral," he said to Kesavara, "I recommend we withdraw. These humans are not what we thought they were. We need to study them more carefully before we do anything else." "Agreed," Kesavara said. "Get out of there, Admiral. Get out of there now." Admiral Vexhai turned to his crew. "All ships prepare to withdraw. Plot a course back to Council space." "Sir," the communications officer said, "we are receiving another message from the humans." General Morrison appeared on the screen again. "Admiral," he said, "we can see you preparing to leave. That is a wise decision. But before you go, we want you to take a message back to your council." "What message?" Morrison's smile returned, still cold and dangerous. "Tell them the humans appreciate their interest in Earth, but we do not need protection, and we do not accept surrender demands. And Admiral, if any alien fleet comes to our space again with hostile intent, we will not give them 30 minutes to think about it." The transmission ended as the alien fleet jumped into hyperspace, running away as fast as their engines could carry them. 2 weeks after the alien fleet left Earth's space, Admiral Vexhai was back with a much larger force. The Galactic Council had been angry about the failed first contact. They sent him back with 300 ships and orders to show the humans what real power looked like. This time, General Thaxmore had told him before he left, "Do not give them time to think. Hit them fast and hard. Take their moon first, then demand surrender." Admiral Vexhai was not confident about this plan, but he followed his orders. The massive fleet dropped out of hyperspace and immediately launched attack ships toward Earth's moon. If they could capture the lunar bases, they could force the humans to give up. The first wave of alien ships approached the moon's surface. The Kravos shock troops were ready for battle. They wore heavy armor that could stop most weapons and carried energy rifles that could melt through steel. Each warrior was 8 feet tall and weighed 300 pounds of muscle and bone. Commander Zarthek led the first assault team. He had fought in 20 different star systems and never lost a battle. As his ship landed on the moon's surface, he felt the familiar excitement of combat. "Spread out," he ordered his troops over the radio. "Find the human defenders and crush them quickly." The aliens moved across the lunar landscape in perfect formation. Their sensors showed human life signs hiding behind rock formations and inside metal structures. The humans were waiting for them. What the aliens did not know was that Staff Sergeant Maria Rodriguez had been waiting for them too. She crouched behind a lunar ridge, her powered armor invisible to alien sensors. Around her, 40 other Marines were hidden in carefully chosen positions. Rodriguez had been a Marine for 12 years. She had fought in desert wars and jungle conflicts. She had trained for battle in space, underwater, and in conditions that would kill most people. But she had never been more excited than she was right now. "Marines," she whispered into her radio. "We have alien contacts moving toward position Alpha. Remember your training. Fast, precise, overwhelming." The aliens advanced confidently. They had never met serious resistance from any species. Most planets surrendered after seeing the Kravos warriors in action. Commander Zarthek was scanning the area when his head exploded. The bullet that killed him came from Rodriguez's rifle, fired from 800 meters away. The weapon used electromagnetic coils to launch its projectile at incredible speed. The aliens' advanced armor, designed to stop energy weapons, was useless against the hypervelocity round. "Contact front," Rodriguez shouted as she shifted to her next target. The Marines opened fire all at once. The aliens suddenly found themselves under attack from weapons they could not understand. The human rifles did not fire energy beams or plasma bolts. They fired solid projectiles that moved faster than sound and hit harder than hammers. The Kravos warriors tried to return fire, but they could not see their attackers. The Marines' armor bent light around them, making them nearly invisible. When the aliens finally spotted a human position, the Marine was already gone, moved to a new hiding place. Corporal Danny Thompson flanked a group of Vorthak infiltrators who were trying to reach the human base. The aliens moved like giant insects, using their 6 legs to climb over rocks that would stop other species. They thought they were being clever. Thompson's rifle fired smart ammunition. Each bullet had a tiny computer that could change direction after being fired. When the aliens hid behind rocks, the bullets curved around the cover and found their targets anyway. "What kind of weapons are these?" One of the aliens screamed over the radio before Thompson's next shot ended the conversation. But the real shock came when Private Jimmy Chen got surrounded by 4 hegemony heavy assault troops. Each alien was twice his size and armed with weapons that could cut through tank armor. They cornered him in a crater where he had nowhere to run. The aliens laughed as they closed in. This human looked like a child compared to their massive forms. Their combat drugs made them feel no pain and gave them incredible strength. Their regenerative armor could heal small wounds automatically. Chen drew his sidearm, a simple .45 caliber pistol that looked like a toy next to the aliens' advanced weapons. The first alien charged, swinging a power sword that could cut through steel. Chen stepped aside at the last second and put 3 bullets into the alien's head. The creature dropped like a falling tree. The second alien fired an energy beam that melted the rock behind where Chen had been standing. But Chen was already moving, rolling across the ground and coming up behind his attacker. 2 more shots and the second alien fell. The third and fourth aliens attacked together, trying to overwhelm the small human with their combined size and strength. Chen moved between them like a dancer, his pistol barking twice more. Both aliens collapsed. The entire fight lasted 15 seconds. Chen reloaded his weapon with the calm efficiency of someone who had just performed routine maintenance. He had been told since childhood that he was too small for football, too weak for wrestling, too short for basketball. But nobody had ever told him he was too small to be a Marine. The alien commanders watching through their scout drones could not process what they were seeing. Their elite warriors, the best fighters in the galaxy, were being destroyed by humans who seemed to be enjoying themselves. "Fall back," came the order from the alien fleet. "All ground forces return to the ships immediately." But the Marines were not finished. As the aliens tried to retreat, human ships appeared from hidden positions all around the moon. The alien landing craft found themselves surrounded and outgunned. Rodriguez watched through her rifle scope as alien ships tried to escape. Most of them did not make it. "Control, this is Rodriguez," she reported over the radio. "Lunar perimeter is secure. Enemy ground forces have been eliminated." "Copy that, Rodriguez." "Outstanding work. How many casualties on our side?" Rodriguez checked her tactical display. 0 dead, 3 wounded. Johnson twisted his ankle and Lee got a scratch on her armor. "Oh, and Chen needs a new uniform. His got torn when he was dodging those power swords." There was silence on the radio for a moment. "Rodriguez, are you telling me that 40 Marines just defeated a full alien assault force, and the worst injury was a twisted ankle?" "Yes, sir. These aliens fight like they have never met anyone who shoots back." Back on the alien flagship, Admiral Vexahai stared at the tactical reports in disbelief. His first assault wave had been completely destroyed. Not defeated, destroyed. The humans had not just won the battle. They had made it look easy. "Sir," his communications officer said, "we are receiving a transmission from the humans." The main screen showed a human in military uniform, standing in what appeared to be a command center on the moon. Behind him, Marines were cleaning their weapons and sharing what looked like food rations. "Admiral," the human said, "this is Colonel Jackson, commanding the 2nd Marine Division. I understand your boys might be a little confused about what just happened. So let me explain." Colonel Jackson smiled, and Admiral Vexhai felt a chill run down his spine. "What you just encountered was our greeting party. A single rifle company doing a routine patrol. If you would like to meet our main force, you are welcome to try landing on Earth itself." Jackson paused, and the aliens could hear laughter from the Marines in the background. "The boys are getting a little bored up here, Admiral. We have been training for this fight for decades, and so far you have not given us much of a challenge. How about you send down your best troops next time? We promise to make it interesting for them." The transmission ended with the Marines shouting something that sounded like, "Hoorah!" Admiral Vexhai turned to his tactical officer. "How many ships do we have left?" "We lost 37 vessels, sir. The humans have weapons hidden all over that moon." "And how many humans did we kill, according to our scans?" "None, sir." Admiral Vexhai sat down heavily in his command chair. He was beginning to understand that the Galactic Council had made a terrible mistake. These humans were not peaceful because they were weak. They were peaceful because they were so strong that they did not need to prove it. "Send a message to the Council," he ordered. "Tell them we need to talk." The emergency session of the Galactic Council was unlike anything in their history. For the first time in thousands of years, every species was afraid. The news from Earth had spread through the galaxy like wildfire. General Thaxamor stood before the assembled aliens, his 6 arms hanging loosely at his sides. The proud warrior who had laughed at human weakness now looked like he had seen his own death. "Council members," he began, his voice shaking, "we have made a grave error. The humans were not showing us their peaceful nature. They were showing us their restraint." The hall was completely silent. Every alien representative leaned forward to hear every word. "Our assault on their moon was a complete disaster," Thaxmore continued. "We sent our best warriors, our most advanced weapons, our elite shock troops. A single company of human Marines destroyed them all." Council Leader Mordak's ancient voice rumbled through the chamber. "How is this possible? Our intelligence was perfect. We watched them for months." "No," said Zekthara from his position near the front. "Our intelligence was exactly what they wanted us to see. We were not spying on them. They were running an operation on us." Ambassador Kesavara activated her personal display, showing the battle footage from the moon. The assembled aliens watched in horror as their mighty warriors were cut down by invisible humans, using weapons that defied understanding. "Look at this," she said, pointing to the tactical data. "The human soldiers move like they share one mind. Each Marine knows exactly where every other Marine is at all times. Their coordination is perfect. Their weapons," General Thaxmore added, "are centuries ahead of our technology. What we thought were primitive projectile guns are actually electromagnetic rail weapons. Each bullet is guided by its own computer and can change direction after being fired. But the most terrifying discovery," Zekthara said, "is how long they have been preparing for this. Our code breakers have been analyzing their communications. These humans have been studying galactic warfare for over 50 years. The display showed intercepted human military documents, training manuals for fighting in zero gravity, tactical studies of every major galactic species, detailed analyses of alien weapons and armor. They knew we were coming," Ambassador Kesavara said quietly. "They had been planning for this war since before we discovered their planet." "How?" Mordak demanded. "How could they know about us before we knew about them?" "They intercept our communications," Thaxmore explained. "Their planet is covered with listening stations. Every message sent between star systems passes through their networks. They have been recording our conversations for decades." The implications were staggering. Every battle plan, every tactical discussion, every strategic meeting had been monitored by human intelligence. The humans knew more about galactic military capabilities than most council members did. "Show them the entertainment analysis," Zekthara said. The display changed to show human movies and television programs. Space battles, alien invasions, interstellar wars. The aliens had thought these were primitive stories, but now they understood the truth. They were not making entertainment, Kesavara said. They were conducting psychological warfare. Every movie, every television show was designed to make us think they were harmless while they studied our reactions. The humans broadcast these programs throughout the galaxy, Thaxmore added. Every species watched them. We all learned to think of humans as weak and peaceful. It was the largest intelligence operation in galactic history. Council Leader Mordak was quiet for a long time, processing this information. Finally he spoke. "What else do we know about their capabilities?" General Thaxmore activated another display. "Their internet is not a primitive information network. It is a military coordination system. Every human on the planet is connected to every other human in real time. When they fight, their entire species functions as a single military unit." "Impossible," said Admiral Kesavara. "No species can coordinate billions of individuals simultaneously." "The humans can," Thaxmore replied. "We have detected the signals. Their planet operates like one massive organism. Every soldier knows what every other soldier is doing. Every ship is aware of every other ship's position and status. The display showed Earth's communication networks. Millions of signals connected every city, every military base, every ship in space. It was like looking at the nervous system of a living creature. And their manufacturing capability, Zekthera added, is beyond anything we have seen. They can build weapons and ships faster than we can destroy them. Their entire planet is one giant factory. How many ships do they have? Mordek asked. We do not know, Admiral Kesevar admitted. Our sensors show hundreds of vessels, but they use stealth technology we cannot understand. There could be thousands of ships we cannot detect. Or tens of thousands, Thaxmore said grimly. The chamber filled with worried voices. Some aliens suggested immediate evacuation from nearby star systems. Others wanted to attempt negotiations. A few still believed that massive, overwhelming force could defeat the humans. There is more, Zekthara said, and the room grew quiet again. We have intercepted human military communications. They are not just defending their planet. They are planning to expand. The display showed human ships moving toward nearby star systems, not invasion fleets but exploration vessels protected by military escorts. The humans were coming whether the galaxy wanted them or not. They sent us a message, Admiral Kesavara said. It came directly to Council headquarters 3 hours ago. The main screen activated, showing a human in military uniform sitting behind a desk. The office behind him looked normal, almost boring, but the aliens now understood that appearances could be deceiving when it came to humans. Greetings, Galactic Council, the human said. I am General Morrison, representing the United Earth Defense Forces. By now you have learned that your assessment of humanity was somewhat inaccurate. Morrison paused and his expression became serious. Let me be clear about our position. We do not want war with the galactic community. But we will not accept conquest, enslavement, or any form of outside control. Earth is sovereign human territory and it will remain that way. However, Morrison continued, we are not unreasonable. We understand that the galaxy has operated under certain rules for thousands of years. We are willing to discuss new arrangements that benefit everyone. You have 7 days to respond to this message. If we do not hear from you by then, we will assume you intend to continue hostile actions against Earth. In that case, we will take appropriate measures to ensure our security. The message ended with an image of human ships patrolling the edge of their solar system. They looked small and harmless, but the aliens now knew better. What does he mean by appropriate measures? Asked one of the younger council members. I think, General Thaxmore said slowly, he means they will come here. The thought of human Marines attacking Council headquarters made every alien in the chamber nervous. If the humans could defeat an entire assault fleet with a single company, what could they do with their full military force? We need to respond, Council Leader Mordak said. But what do we say? We negotiate, Ambassador Kesavara replied. We find out what they want and see if we can give it to them without losing everything. And if we cannot reach an agreement? The chamber was silent. Every alien knew the answer to that question. If they could not make peace with the humans, they would have to fight them. And after seeing what happened on the moon, none of them wanted that war. 7 days, Mordak said finally. We have 7 days to figure out how to deal with these humans. I suggest we use the time wisely. As the council session ended, the aliens dispersed to their home systems to consult with their governments. For the first time in galactic history, the strongest species in the galaxy were afraid of a newcomer. Meanwhile, on Earth, General Morrison turned off the transmission and smiled. The psychological pressure was working perfectly. The aliens were scared, confused, and desperate to avoid a full-scale war. Think they will take the bait? Asked his aide. They will negotiate, Morrison replied. They have to. They cannot win a war against us, and they know it. And if they try to fight anyway, Morrison's smile grew wider. Then we show them what the Marines can really do. 6 months after the Lunar incident, Ambassador Zekthara found himself in a very different kind of meeting room. The human-built space station New Geneva orbited Earth like a gleaming symbol of the galaxy's new reality. The station was beautiful and modern, nothing like the dark, intimidating council chambers where aliens had met for thousands of years. The Galactic Council still existed, but everything had changed. Instead of conquered species paying tribute to the strongest races, there was now something the humans called voluntary cooperation. Species joined because they wanted to, not because they were forced to. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the front of the meeting room, addressing the assembled alien representatives. She wore a simple blue uniform with no weapons visible, but every alien in the room knew how dangerous humans could be when they chose to fight. The problem, Admiral Chen explained in her calm, professional voice, was not that you were conquering other species. The problem was that you were being inefficient about it. The aliens listened with the careful attention of students before a strict teacher. The humans had proven that their military capabilities were beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen, but more importantly, they had shown that there were better ways to achieve goals than simply destroying everyone who disagreed with you. When you conquer a planet by force, Chen continued, you get slaves who hate you and will rebel whenever they get the chance. When you invite a planet to join a mutual defense alliance, you get partners who will fight beside you because they want to. The difference was remarkable. In the 6 months since the new system began, trade between species had increased by 400%. Instead of stealing resources from each other, alien species were sharing technology and knowledge. Wars between minor species had almost completely stopped. You see, Chen said, humans do not fear war. We have simply learned to be very, very good at it. So good, in fact, that we discovered something most species never live long enough to figure out. There are more effective ways to achieve your objectives. Behind her, a holographic display showed the current state of galactic affairs. Green zones indicated peaceful cooperation between species. Yellow zones showed ongoing diplomatic negotiations. Red zones marked areas where marine intervention was still needed. The red zones were shrinking rapidly. Consider the hegemony of Zarkos, Chen said, pointing to a section of the display. For 300 years, they fought the Confederation of Belos over mining rights in the Kepler system. Millions of lives lost, countless ships destroyed, entire planets left uninhabitable. Under our mediation, both species now jointly operate the Kepler mines. Production has increased by 600% because they are working together instead of destroying each other's equipment. Both species are making more profit than they ever did from war. General Morrison, now serving as the first human representative to the Galactic Council, stood to address the assembly. Behind him, the holographic display updated to show recent developments across the galaxy. Ladies, gentlemen, and various other biological configurations. Morrison began with the easy confidence of someone who had recently watched his Marines revolutionize galactic military thinking. Welcome to what we like to call the Terran Age. We have a lot of work ahead of us, but do not worry. The Marines are here to help with the heavy lifting. In the back of the room, Staff Sergeant Rodriguez adjusted her dress blue uniform and smiled. She had traded her combat armor for a formal military dress uniform, but every alien in the room knew she could be back in fighting gear in minutes if needed. Ambassador Zekathara raised one of his 6 arms to ask a question. Admiral Chen, what happens to species that refuse to join this new system? Nothing, Chen replied simply. If a species wants to continue operating under the old rules, that is their choice. But they cannot force those rules on anyone else. What if they attack species that have joined the alliance? Chen's expression became slightly less friendly. Then they discover why our Marine recruiting slogan is "The few, the proud, the Marines." We take protecting our allies very seriously. The display showed recent examples. 3 different aggressive species had tried to attack new alliance members, thinking the humans were too far away to respond quickly. In each case, Marine rapid response teams had arrived within hours and ended the conflicts decisively. The key difference, General Morrison explained, is that we do not conquer the attacking species. We simply make it very clear that aggression against alliance members will not be tolerated. After a brief educational experience with our Marines, most species decide that peaceful cooperation is preferable. Council leader Mordak, the ancient being who had once ruled through fear and violence, spoke from his position at the council table. Age had made him wise enough to recognize when times had changed. General Morrison, Mordak said, your species has accomplished something unprecedented. You have created a galactic government based on voluntary participation rather than force. But how do you maintain order when species disagree? The same way humans have learned to maintain order on Earth, Morrison replied. We talk, we negotiate. We find solutions that work for everyone. And when someone refuses to talk and tries to solve problems with violence, Morrison gestured toward Rodriguez, who gave a small wave to the assembled aliens. We have specialists who are very good at explaining why violence is not always the best option. Admiral Kesavara, who now served as the Alliance's naval coordinator, activated her own display. The results speak for themselves, she said. Piracy in major shipping lanes has decreased by 90%. Not because we destroyed all the pirates, but because we offered them better jobs. Better jobs? Asked General Thaxmore, who was still adjusting to the idea that problems could be solved without killing everyone involved. Security escort duties, Kesavara explained. Former pirates now protect the same shipping lanes they used to attack. They get steady pay, legal immunity for past crimes, and the excitement of space combat when real threats appear. Everyone wins. The display showed former pirate ships now flying alongside Alliance vessels, their weapons turned outward to protect merchant traffic. It was a perfect example of human thinking. Instead of destroying a problem, find a way to make it useful. What about military conflicts between major species? Asked another alien representative. How do you handle wars between entire star empires? We prevent them, Admiral Chen said. Our intelligence networks monitor galactic communications. When we detect rising tensions between species, we send diplomatic teams to help resolve the issues before they become wars. And if diplomacy fails? Chen smiled. We send Marines to both sides with a simple message. Work it out peacefully or we will work it out for you. Surprisingly, most species suddenly become very interested in diplomatic solutions when faced with that choice. The meeting continued for several hours, with alien representatives asking questions about everything from trade regulations to military cooperation. The humans had answers for everything, backed up by 6 months of successful implementation. As the session ended, Ambassador Zekthara approached Admiral Chen privately. Admiral, he said, I must ask, did your species plan all of this from the beginning? Chen considered the question carefully. Not exactly, she replied. We knew that contact with galactic civilization was inevitable. We spent decades preparing for different scenarios. War was always possible, but we hoped for something better. And now? Now we have something better, Chen said, looking out at the stars visible through the station's windows. A galaxy where species cooperate instead of conquering each other. Where problems are solved through negotiation instead of violence. Where everyone benefits from working together. It is impressive, Zekthara admitted. But what happens when you encounter a species that cannot be reasoned with? One that refuses all cooperation and demands only conquest? Admiral Chen's expression became serious. Then we remind them that humans became peaceful by choice, not because we lack the ability to fight. The Marines are always ready to demonstrate the difference. As the alien representatives departed for their home worlds, the humans began planning for the next phase of galactic integration. There were still dozens of species to contact, new technologies to share, and the occasional aggressive empire that needed to be educated about the benefits of cooperation. In her quarters aboard the station, Staff Sergeant Rodriguez cleaned her rifle and reviewed the latest intelligence reports. The galaxy was becoming a more peaceful place, but Marines always stayed ready. After all, peace was something that sometimes needed to be defended. Outside her window, ships from a dozen different species worked together to build new trade routes and communication networks. It was a sight that would have been impossible just months before. The Terran Age had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same.